Hello everyone, today's video is going to be about replacing the support rollers for the drum in my gas dryer. I have a Whirlpool gas dryer, but these rollers are used by many manufacturers of dryers, and so it's kind of universal how they get swapped in and out. It only took a few minutes, and so the video is actually longer because I wanted to zoom in and show you close-ups of the difficult parts and some of the things to watch out when replacing them. So, I hope you like the video.
Well, this is what it sounded like. It's kind of loud. There is no close in that. It's just the drum is rolling with nothing in it. So we're going to get started. We're going to pull it out here so that we can perform a very important safety step. I think we all know what that is. We're going to pull out the electric plug and we're going to turn off the gas to the dryer. Very important. Make sure you do this. Never work on it. So the first two screws we're going to work on are under this cover for the lint trap. So let's lift that up and just use a standard nut driver, my 8-way screwdriver, and take those two screws out. That's number one and number two here. Important to realize that we should keep track of the screws as we take them out. There will only be 6 screws in total, so it's not difficult to keep track of them, but it is important to keep them together. So I'm going to pop them here into this magnetic base so they won't roll away. Now we have to lift up this portion. They're snapped in with little catches there, and you may have to use a screwdriver or something to get that out. Next, we're going to disconnect the dryer door switch, which is this plug here. Both sides of this actually kind of have a little catch on them. You may need a screwdriver on both sides to get that off. Next, we are going to remove 2 screws that are holding that entire front on the dryer. One there, and the second one on the other side, mirrored up the other side. Be careful not to drop these, though it is accessible if you do drop it. Also, there are panel screws, panel nuts I should say, little black nuts there that may come loose. To get the front off, you just lift up and out, and as you see, the drum itself will just tilt forward a little. That's perfectly fine. Now we're going to take the tension off the belt like this and pull the belt off the pulley. I pushed forward with my left hand to get that off, and now the drum will tilt down even further. As you can see, the two sides have 2 curved forms in them so that the drum can be just pulled straight out the front. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm pulling the drum directly out the front with the drive belt on it, by the way. Here are the 2 rollers that it rides on. As you can see, you may or may not know what it looks like, but you can see the rubber there just completely worn off, and it was riding on no rubber there. So this is the right hand one. I'm going to use a little screwdriver. There's a triangular shaped retainer ring. It's not a ring, it's a triangle. I'm going to try and get that off with this little mini screwdriver, and there it goes. So now that it's off, it just slides right off the shaft. So we will look at the new one here, and as you can see on one side, you may not have noticed it too much there, but there's a little hub protruding out the side of one side. I actually just broke in trying to push that retainer ring on. I broke the retainer. It's very old. It's about 15 years old piece of plastic. So I'm gonna just really just bend out of a small ring that I had lying around into a little, oblong shape like that, so they can go into the retaining ring groove where that plastic retainer was. I'm going to push it on like that. It's on loosely, but it's on enough so that it doesn't fall out. And you can see the roller is spinning freely. You could also just use a heavy, paper clip, could do the same thing. But it stayed on. I'm confident it's going to be fine. To get this roller off, you can see I'm going to do the same thing and take this triangularly shaped retainer and get it off the roller. The other side, I had a problem pushing it back on. So I know this plastic is kind of brittle. It's been exposed to a lot of heat over 15 years. But this one came off without a problem and it didn't break. So as you can see next, the roller cannot come off because it is blocked by this black deflector sheet metal shield here. That's it right there, that entire piece. So there's only 2 screws holding that on. One down at the bottom. We'll get that off and put it into the magnetic catch plate, and the second one, we'll take it off also. And once that comes off, we'll just remove that black sheet metal, and we do that by lifting up the front of it so that a tab, let's get a better picture here. Yeah, so we're going to lift up the front with my hand there, and there's a tab that goes into a little slot at the back. You can see it at the top of the screen. There's the tab, and there's a little slot. So now that it's off, we can slide it off the second roller. There it is, pretty worn out. Now we're going to slide the new one on, and as I stated with the earlier one, there's a little hub there on the right hand side. That hub I'm going to push onto the shaft first, which is biasing the roller out further when it's on the shaft, so it's under the drum. You can clearly see that it's being retained pretty well. So now that that's in, we can put back the black deflector cover. Just for reference, that's what they look like. There's no rubber at all left on one and very little left on the other. There's the tab, goes right into that slot. And once that in, once that's in place, we can put the 2 screws that came with it. There they go, those. We can take those and screw it back on in the exact same place that it was. So we're going to go backwards, put everything back together in reverse order. You can see the amount of rubber that's on the roller here. That's what it should have looked like. The ones I took off, of course, had no rubber. Anyway, just hand tighten these so that it's secured properly. Just taking a little time this section to clean up a little. Hope you can hear me. Just a few seconds. Now I'm going to put the entire drum back on, the drum with the drive belt, and let it hang down, get it onto the rollers, but it will hang down. Then we'll get underneath and get that drive belt back onto the motor pulley. So there it is. As you can see, there's a tensioner there. I'm going to push that tensioner to the right with my left hand. I'm going to push it up and to the right with my left hand, and I'm going to push the belt in through the hole and around the pulley with my right hand. And it's going to tend to spring back. Now I'm going to back drive the drum with my hand. So I'm going to put my hand inside the drum and push just to see that it's rotating freely. There it is, pulled, zoomed out a little bit. It is rolling perfectly, so there's no problem. Now it's time to get this back on. There are 2 hooks at the bottom. There's a picture of the hooks, and that little rectangle in the middle next to that spring, that's the rectangle that goes right onto the hook. And there's 1 hook on either side, the right and the left. This actually took me about maybe 10-20 seconds to get on. Even though it looks pretty simple, it was kind of one of the more difficult things to line up the 2 hooks with those 2 rectangular holes and just hook it on and down. But there you see it live, probably took 20 seconds. I did get it on there. So it's just something for you to be aware of and to be careful of when you're getting it back on. There it is, fell into place. So the next thing working backwards would be to get the 2 screws that are securing the top of that entire front and get them back in. Here are the 2 screws. So in reverse order, we will work on the left hand side first. And you can see that black panel nut. It's very difficult to see from this point here, but that has to be in place. It can slide around a little bit. You may have to adjust it. I'm coming up here on the other side. It's slightly out of place. The screw didn't line up, so there I am adjusting it. There's just friction holding it. That's what it looks like. So you have to line that up with the hole that's in the side, and then it will go in. Sometimes it can be even loose, so you can slide it off, squeeze it with the pliers to tighten it up, and then push it back on. It should hold more securely, and then you can get it tightly secured. After that, we get the plug. There's only one way to push it all the way in and secure. Once we have that done, it's just simply the top is entirely hinged, so we just bring it all the way down, make sure the top, just snap it down into place like that. Now we're back together. So with that, the two final screws that are holding that top down under this lint cover, the lint trap cover, and we'll get these two screws in. So 6 screws in its entirety is not too bad at all for getting right into the belly of this beast. So these are the two, and that's a standard 1/4" nut driver. It's a 6-way standard screwdriver. And now it's time to get ourselves powered back up. So we'll put the plug back in the wall, give it some power, and turn the gas back on so that it will start up. Without the gas, it won't start because it will know that there is no gas. So just want to push it a little more back into place before we give it a try. And there we go. Trying to get it exactly where it was. That's a lot better. It is nice. There's an example of what it used to be. Loud with no clothes in it. And we'll just switch back to the way that it was.
So that's it. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up down below. Hit the subscribe button to be automatically notified of upcoming videos. And thank you for watching.